Good morning, YouTube, or afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Good news, we're doing a weekly giveaway on our YouTube channel for Amazon gift cards. All you gotta do to enter is like the video, give us a subscribe, and comment below. The more comments you give us on the weekly videos for that week, we go Monday through Sunday, the more chances you have being entered, basically. So I'm gonna go through whatever the most creative content is as far as your comments go, and I'll pick a winner, and I'll send you a gift card. It's pretty simple. Free money. Who likes free money? I know I do. Subscribe. Have a good day.
So the next story is Denver could become, and this is because we've been talking about it on a regular basis so far on FunkShop TV. Denver could become the first U.S. city to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms.
See, I have no excitement regarding that, but I totally think it should be legal.
Mesa Kills, what up? Thanks for hanging out on FunkShop TV. The article reads, Denver, Colorado could become the first U.S. city to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms after a campaign gathered enough signatures to put a magic mushrooms measure on the ballot for the municipal elections in May. Kevin Matthews, the campaign director of Denver for what is that word? Psilocybin?
Yes. Yes.
Psilocybin?
Psilocybin. You think you said
Psilocybin?
No, the first time you said
Psilocybin?
Yeah,
anyways, Kevin Matthews, the campaign director of Denver for psychedelic mushrooms, told the local news outlet NBC9 that more than 8,000 people signed off on advancing the measure, which needed 4,279 signatures to proceed. The city's election office has 25 days to verify the signatures' legitimacy. The measure, containing language based on a 2007 effort that decriminalized recreational marijuana in Denver, would not legalize hallucinogenic mushrooms, which contain psilocybin as an active ingredient. The ordinance would, however, make the use and possession of psilocybin by people above age 21 the city's lowest law enforcement priority, NBC9 reported. Magic mushrooms are currently classified as a Schedule I drug, a category that the federal government uses for substances that have no medical benefit. Cocaine and heroin are both considered Schedule I drugs.
But mushrooms do have medical benefits.
Such as?
I don't know off the top of my head specifically.
And are they proven or is it speculated?
Pretty sure they're proven.
If you're an expert on psilocybin,
I don't remember.
Shoot us an email at funkshoptv@gmail.com so we can get you on the show.
I remember other things I've watched talking about the benefits of it and like helping. I think one of the things, if I remember right, was it was either this or it was another compound that's similar. Help people quit addiction.
Okay. Psilocybin was used to help people quit.
I think it was psilocybin. It might have been. It could have been. What's that one? There's another substance that does a very similar effect to your body, but crap. It's on the tip of my fucking tongue. It's often found like in South America, like tribes and stuff use it. It's like another. It's not a mushroom, but it's another hallucinogen like that kind of like takes you on a spiritual journey.
Okay.
I forget what it's called, but I think maybe even both of them have a similar effect as far as like helping quit addictions. Like people would literally like just stop after like one use of these things. Like if they were addicted to like coke or addicted to meth or addicted to whatever, cigarettes, stuff like that, and they're trying to quit and their goal was to quit, they would do these things, and afterwards they just were like, oh, okay, I'm done.
Huh.
So
yeah,
it was like an 80 or 90%.
Never heard of that, but
80 or 90% like success rate.
Wow.
According to studies, they did it like there were some studies like in overseas, like in like Iceland,
I'm gonna look
and
it
stuff.
up because I want to know.
I think it was Iceland, or Finland, or someplace over there. They were talking about it on Joe Rogan. watch a lot of that damn show. It's a lot of good information, but to try to remember every little detail is so freaking hard because there's just
According to evolveandascend.com, come on and load. Top 7 amazing health benefits of psilocybin mushrooms. Psilocybin mushroom health benefit number 1: it stimulates growth of new brain cells.
That would make sense.
Published in 2013, studied the effects of psilocybin mushrooms on fear-conditioned mice. What they discovered startled them. The main ingredients in psilocybin mushroom, psilocybin, empowered the mice to get over their fear and promoted new neurons, growth, and regeneration in the brains. Study leader, Dr. Bjorn Catlow of the Lieber Institute for Brain Development, had a few things to declare after the study. Quote, memory, learning, and the ability to relearn that a once threatening stimuli is no longer a danger absolutely depends on the ability of the brain to alter its connections. We believe that neuroplasticity plays a critical role in psilocybin accelerating fear extinction. It is highly possible that in the future we will continue these studies since many interesting questions have come up from these experiments. The hope is that we can extend the findings to humans in clinical trials.
That would be a super beneficial thing. I mean, think of like people that like are just afraid of. They have weird things that they're afraid of that like that cripple them in everyday life.
Right, they hold them back from
whatever it might
engaging
be.
in whatever.
There's 1,000 different things that could be afraid of that are like holding them back. But if you could teach the brain to get over those fears more effectively,
right,
and this could be a good tool for it potentially.
Now, I could probably handle the tea, but I cannot eat mushrooms. I don't care if they're dried and shriveled up or if they're deep fried and breaded and deep fried. I don't eat mushrooms, period. Mushroom fungus. It's gross. I cannot stand it.
I love mushrooms. I've never done these kind of
like,
things.
I like mushrooms.
I've eaten mushrooms on my pizza, in my Chinese food.
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Cannot do it. Psilocybin mushroom health benefit number 2: reduces pain due to social rejection. So we know some people that could use some mushrooms right now. We all go through rejection from time to time, right? It is a natural process when it comes to interacting with other individuals. A study performed by a team of Swiss neurobiologists published in April 2016 stated that psilocybin is of great help in reducing the pain resulting from social rejection.
Man, so we should just take all the teenagers and
start putting psilocybin in their chocolate milk in school.
Talking to each other and get quit being hiding in a freaking.
Stop caring so much about what somebody posts on Facebook.
Yeah.
Psilocybin mushroom health benefit number 3: alleviates OCD symptoms. Obsessive compulsive disorder, also known as OCD, is a psychiatric disorder which is occurring especially in patients suffering from schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, and other psychiatric ailments. A study performed by the University of Arizona in 2006 discovered that psilocybin mushrooms are very effective in alleviating the symptoms of this disorder.
Sounds very. I mean, they all seem very related.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah. Well, and on to number 4, it's very relative. Psilocybin mushrooms health benefit number 4: soothes anxiety. Hey, Nolan. In a 2011 study, researchers discovered that advanced stage patients suffering from cancer would have their anxiety soothed and drastically lowered after being administered psilocybin mushrooms. That's cool.
Yeah, definitely related.
Advanced stage patients suffering from cancer had their anxiety soothed, and
yeah, that's like
which could help the body actually kind of fight against cancerous progression.
Probably. And like
Nolan said, that's it. I'm doing shrooms. I'd try them if I could get myself to eat them, but I cannot. You'd have to
Yeah, they make tea version things you can, like.
They would have to be in a tea form, and you'd have to add a bunch of flavoring to it. Because if it's anything tastes like mushrooms or dirt, I'm gonna throw it up. Psilocybin mushroom health benefit number 5: lowers depression. Studies have shown that psilocybin mushrooms are effective at treating depression very effectively, as well as treating post-traumatic stress disorder.
Actually, that was one of the things. Now that you say that, that was one of the things I remember watching about one of the benefits of it. Like giving it to, I think they were giving it to people returning from like war and stuff, and it was like greatly beneficial for them. So anyway,
You know, I know some people that do shrooms, and they seem like they're the most schizophrenic people I know, but maybe they're schizophrenic when they're not doing shrooms.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe they've done so many of them that they have to have shrooms in their system to not.
I know some of these compounds, like it's helpful to have somebody with you. Like, obviously, everybody's brain chemistry is different. You know what I mean? So, like, you know, you're gonna have like oddball cases of stuff, but
I am an oddball case when it comes to stuff like this.
I think if like you have a guide to help you through like your trip, essentially. I think that's part of like one of the things that they were studying is like having that assistance to help you through, guide you through it, so that you come out there and more balanced. Like,
so if you eat mushrooms, it's going to go through your digestive system and come out your asshole more balanced.
No, I meant mentally balanced.
I know. Usually come out the other end, so I just kind of I had to roll with it.
Yeah,
you know. Because it's FunkShop TV, and that's what we do here. Number 6, psilocybin mushrooms health benefit. Number 6, long-term medical and spiritual benefits. There was a famous study done at Johns Hopkins University which left researchers stunned. Out of 36 test subjects, a third said that their experience was the most significant and spiritual experience of their lives, while over 2/3 stated it was definitely in the top 5 most significant life experiences. Here's what Dr. Roland Griffiths from Johns Hopkins University has to say about the healing power of psilocybin mushrooms. Psilocybin is an amazing tool for unlocking the mysteries of human consciousness. The core feature of this mystical experience is a strong sense of interconnectedness to all things, a rising sense of self-confidence, clarity and communal responsibility, altruism, and social justice. Understanding the nature of these effects and their consequences may very well be the key to survival of the human species.
What's interesting?
Hey, Jeff in the Box, what up?
What's up, Jeff in the Box?
Sean has 2 names because Josh is not with us today. Usually it's Sean and Josh, or Josh and Sean sitting next to each other. And I don't want to keep deleting the name and re-adding it all the time.
Right. Real quick, I can like when you're talking about the benefits. What like how did you put that again? Read that last part again, or the benefits to their.
Psilocybin is an amazing tool for unlocking the mysteries of human consciousness. The core feature of this mystical experience is a strong sense of interconnectedness to all things, a rising sense of self-confidence, clarity and communal responsibility, altruism and social justice. Understanding the nature of these effects and their consequences may very well be the key to survival of the human species.
So basically, you look at the world in like a better light. You kind of like get your own life, your past, your future, it just gives you a better outlook on life. It's kind of just a real sum up of what you just said, essentially.
Jeff in the Box said, "Ooh, I jumped in on a great topic."
And I can say that I can relate to that, not through mushrooms, but the one time that I did like a super uber duber dab hit and like went into like highness for like 12 hours of like where I thought I was like dying, and I thought my life was just a flashback of my life in a sense. Like I remember basically like remembering my whole life, like in a bunch of like flash scenes, like, you know, the whole thing of like, because I was watching TV, there was this bright light, and between that and like being so high and then remembering memories, and it was like I felt at ease, like I felt like I was dying, like I was like, oh, this is what it's like to die, but then it gave me this like calming like effect that it was like, oh, I don't know. When I came out of it, I just felt like life-changing, kind of like looking back. What?
That was when
I like did a dab hit, like, but like way too much, like a week's worth in like one hit.
So THC kind of gave you the same.
Yeah,
same
but like
effect?
a super high very high dosage, And
The high concentration.
obviously, I think that's kind of just because it was like that first level of that kind of high. Like obviously, if I did that again and again, my body would become
immune to it.
Yeah, it would normalize. But being the first time, it's that kind of euphoric feeling of like looking back at your life, looking at everything, and you're like come out of it with a whole new perspective and balance. I felt like after doing it, so I can totally like kind of gain or kind of understand, relate to that statement, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So not that I plan on ever doing mushrooms, but I can relate. And I think
You will
it's
someday.
beneficial. No, I don't think so.
I think so.
I doubt it.
Jeff in the box said it's the same way with LSD or MDMA in micro doses.
MDMA, that's the other one I was thinking.
Also the same with DMT.
Yeah, DMT.
I thought DMT and MDMA were essentially the same thing, but I don't know enough about it to make a statement like that. So don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Psilocybin mushrooms health benefit number 7, connecting the brain in new ways. Functional MRIs performed during the psychedelic experience induced by psilocybin mushrooms, suggest that these magic mushrooms wire different parts of the brain together, facilitating a much smoother communication between its various parts. The study was published in the Royal Society interface, and the images look like this. There's a link that can show you. Research.
Jeff said way different. Jeff in the box said way different.
Okay. Like I said, I don't know anything about it. I'm ignorant when it comes to stuff like that because I've never tried any of this stuff. I don't want to, and I'll explain why in a minute. Research is only starting to timidly grasp the immense healing potential of these magic mushrooms. In the future, we will definitely witness more and more examples of medical and wellness applications for this ancient medicine. So, back to the original story, Denver may become the first city to legalize it, basically, or decriminalize.
The mushroom thing?
Yeah. Denver
Oregon's
could become the first U.S. city to decriminalize psychedelic mushrooms. That's what the headline is. I know Portland's working on it as well. Oregon, period. I would rather see a city decriminalize it or free it up than a whole state at one time, just so you could compare that city with the rest of the outlying areas 2 years down the road. As far as mental application, see what the actual...
My only thought behind that is you're gonna have a weird, because of population density, and so you like in big cities you have that attracts certain types of people, like people that are you're not gonna have like people that are mentally crazy or that have like that are homeless slash they're not the norms, you know what I mean? So you go to like rural communities, you don't have like you don't have generally any homelessness or very little of it, and you don't generally have like crazy people walking the streets, like people that are like just not there at all.
Okay.
Those people are generally in bigger cities because
Right.
they're just attracted to that type of place.
Well, it's easier to panhandle when you have a lot of people walking around in a congested area.
Yeah, and like there's more interaction. Like there's a lot of reasons, social
Right.
reasons for it. So I don't think comparing only because of comparing those type of places, you know what I mean? Because it's not going to be it's like comparing completely different things that don't relate in a way. I mean, you have people, but the types of people that would be that you would have more often using it are those. You'll find like homeless people, you'll find crazy people doing different drugs just because that's what they do. You know what I mean? So
there's a lot of reasons. But.
Yeah, so I think you'd have definitely a skewed kind of information. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
But at the same token, I would love to see like a city, say if Denver and Portland were comparable.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
That's what I meant. Not necessarily Denver versus the rest of Colorado.
Yeah.
But I would like to see it happen within a smaller area, just to compare it to, 2 years down the road. How are test scores comparing? How is crime rate comparing? How is compassion for the general humanity comparing? And not that it would ever happen or it's feasible. It would just be interesting.
I mean, it's feasible to probably do a study. Like you could probably take universities in both
Well,
those areas.
that's what a lot of
and
the
do
the
studies.
reasons that I just read have done. I would just like to see it done on a bigger scale. Jeff in the box said DMT is naturally accruing chemical in the brain. It's what is released when you dream. It's called the dream drug. But DMT is also found in plant.
Isn't it also called the God particle or something? No, that's something else. Never mind.
It's also found in plant, and that's what people use. So,
yeah.
I'm personally, I wouldn't indulge in any of these just because I do not like what happens to me when I'm high on with THC. I can't stand it.
I think some of it. I think some of it's different, like the way you behave. Like I think so when
all of us as humans, our neurons fire in different ways.
Yeah.
Pathologically, we are not the same. That's why humanity is the most advanced animal on this planet. Because
so much diversity.
When my pistons are firing a certain way, your pistons are firing a different way, but yet we can collaborate them to create a big picture.
Mm-hmm.
DMT is a 30-second to a minute trip. That's still...
I thought there was like a longer version of DMT, like a 15-minute one. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. There's a lot of weird chemicals now, like they're not like new, but they're...
When I've been
so
high
many weird things
on marijuana, I've tried to fight people. Like, I've tried to fight best friends with the intent of literally hurting them. And I remember this. There was one time that I got high, and my friends ended up having to tackle me on the living room floor, put me in handcuffs until I passed out. So when I woke up, my arms, I could hardly move because my arms were stiff from being locked in handcuffs behind my back, and I was covered in rug burns because I was rolling all over the floor trying to get out of the handcuffs.
It also might have to do with like the type of weed that you had. Like,
yeah.
It also might have to do with the like. So I know for a fact, like when I've gotten like super high from weed, like really high, like there was no way I was fighting anybody. I couldn't even like figure out how to move my mouth to talk, let alone stand up and walk. That just wasn't happening.
Right.
So I think it also has to do with levels, the type. There's a lot of factors. Maybe your mental state before doing it. You know what I mean?
I'm such an analytical person. I want to try to be in control of my surroundings at all times.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So when I start feeling like I'm losing that control, it pisses me off. That I've been high maybe half a dozen times, and every single time I've gotten super, super pissed off.
I'm not saying you should like go get high.
I won't. That's exactly why I won't. The last time I tried edibles was a few years ago. And I got some really strong edibles from a mutual friend of ours. Yes. And I took a little tiny piece. And it wasn't enough to make me, over the edge high, but it was enough to where my body could feel it. And Adam was here. And Adam, who functions much better when he's blazed than when he's not. And I know numerous people that are like that. But Adam was here, and he was like, man, I'm going to bed because you're being a dick. I was angry. I was being an asshole. That's what happens to me when I'm under the influence of THC. So that's why I won't do it.
What about not THC, but the other one?
CBDs?
CBD, yeah.
So I used CBD tincture after a car wreck because I didn't want to take opiates anymore for my back pain, and it was lovely. It definitely helped with the back pain.
Did you have the same mental effect?
No, not at all.
So the THC
CBDs to me were like popping a Vicodin.
Okay, so THC gives you a more like
anxiety.
Is it anxiety that you describe it as?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Jeff in the box said DMT is a white crystalline powder that is found in certain plants in Mexico, South America, and parts of Asia. Its street names are Dimitri, Fantasia, Businessman's Trip, Businessman Special, and 45-Minute Psychosis. Because it's a naturally occurring psychedelic substance, trace amounts of DMT can actually be found in mammals' brains. It is the strongest of all psychedelic drugs and is sometimes referred to as entheogen, a word that means God generated within. The drugs, that's chemicals, root. I'm sure he's typing more.
That's super awesome that you gave us like that information. It's super cool to talk to people that have like
Jeff
real-
engages in FunkShop TV a lot.
Oh, does he? Okay.
and he's a smart guy. I like him. I appreciate him here.
Cool.
That's why I just made him a VIP status. Gave him a little diamond next to his name.
Woo.
Because I like him. Jeff's a good guy.
And
As far as I know.
And I'm sure other people appreciate that information too.